You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, the #1 resource for growing your function musician business. If you're a solo wedding singer, part of a 12-piece luxury show band, or anything in between, and want to learn from other successful musicians, you're in the right place.
You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 14. My name is Jack and I am the host of this podcast. If this is your first time listening, then welcome. This podcast is all about helping you grow and manage your function musician business. So it's finally happened. I have run out of episodes. Don't worry though, I do have a few more booked in for this season. But just lining up with people's schedules and whatnot has left me without an episode for this week. So instead we are going to be doing a replay of what I think is the most important episode of the whole podcast. And one of my personal favorites as well. Lily's story is just amazing, and she's the perfect example of finding a niche, going full throttle into it and absolutely just smashing it. We first recorded this episode back in spring last year, and I think then maybe she just announced that she was fully booked for 2025, which is an amazing achievement. But I did just see that she posted last week on her social media that only a year and a half later, she's now closed her books for 2027. That means not only was she fully booked for 2025 with her ideal gigs, which in this case is weddings for her, but now she is fully booked for the next 2 years, which is just insane. So whether you've heard this episode before or not, you're in for a treat. There's loads of lessons to be learned here, and sometimes it's good to be reminded of these things. Anyway, that's enough from me. I hope you enjoy my conversation with Lily Kerbey. You're listening to the Full-Time Function Musician Podcast, and on today's episode, I'm chatting to Lily Kerbey. Lily is a Yorkshire-based alternative wedding and events singer and guitarist with a repertoire of songs that range from Blink-182 to Slipknot to S Club 7 and Bonnie Tyler. Lily is definitely not your typical wedding singer. With over a decade of experience in the industry, Lily has performed at a variety of weddings, from picturesque clifftop ceremonies in Portugal to DIY woodland gatherings and high-profile weddings featured in Hello magazine. All this plus a load more makes Lily the perfect guest for the show. Lily, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
So yeah, I first came across your Instagram profile. I don't know why it came up, but it was you doing a Limp Bizkit cover in a wedding style, and that's like immediately grabbed my attention. So I started following you. I've been checking out what you're up to since then. And in my opinion, you're just like the perfect example of like picking a niche, whether that's where you consciously picked that or it came about by just your love of that music. Doesn't really matter. But what you've done with that niche is then like perfectly align all your branding with it, from your logo to your website, even like your fonts, and obviously the songs you play and everything. It all matches up perfectly, which is why I definitely wanted to have you on the show. So yeah, we'll definitely dive into all of that in a bit. But as usual, I'd like to start the show with just going back and finding out a little bit more about you, where you got started, and the journey that's brought you to where you are today.
Sure. Yeah. Firstly, hi. This is nice. Okay. So how did I get where I am? A long journey, I would say. I suppose it probably started with me getting the role of Jesus in the in the school play when I was in year 6, and realized that Jesus had 6 solos, and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to sing. But then realized that I could sing and was like, okay. And then I kind of became the school singer. There's always that kid at school that gets up and sings in assembly, and so I was kind of performing from a really young age. I loved it. It was a huge passion of mine. I did a bit of songwriting here and there, as you do, but it never really became like my passion. It was very much performance and getting up in front of a crowd, even if it was nerve-wracking, and singing. So that was kind of where that fire brew, I suppose, in school. And then I went to uni and I did music. I did pop and jazz vocals at Leeds College of Music. Absolutely loved it. Thought it was amazing. Some of the best years of my life, really. And what it really helped with wasn't just sort of, I suppose, honing my performance skill, but it was also, they taught you about branding and image and you like not just thinking about yourself as a performer, but thinking of yourself as a brand. And obviously that was more aimed towards being a recording artist, which I kind of knew that I never wanted to do. I don't know what it is. There's just something in me. I don't want to be famous. I've never wanted to be famous. I hate the idea of not being able to go to the local shop, like without people recognizing you. Like that just fills me with dread. And I know so many people are like, oh, I'd love to be famous, but it's just not on my bingo card at all. So I've never chased that ever. It's not really been my thing. But I always wanted to do music, and music was just something that was always something that I wanted to do. I wanted to do it every single day. And back when I sort of graduated, I didn't think that I could sustain, I suppose, paying my bills, buy a house with function music money. Like I didn't think that I could gig enough to earn enough to be able to like pay my way. So, and I was singing in function bands. I sang in quite a high profile function band in Harrogate, like some really posh weddings and events. But it just wasn't my love. Like drunk people are not my friend. And I don't know, anyone that's been in a function band will know that drunk people are worse than children, and they just, I don't know, they have no inhibitions and no boundaries. So when you're not drunk yourself, it's just the most annoying and frustrating thing in the world. So I kind of was falling out of love with performing a little bit, but still wanted to do music every day. And I trained to become a secondary school music teacher, like classroom teacher, and absolutely loved it. I don't know, it was great. I was doing for kids what my music teacher did for me. And I did really, really love it. And then COVID hit. And anyone will know that teaching during COVID was not fun, but teaching music during COVID was just horrific because, I mean, I was teaching in a very deprived school and none of those kids had musical instruments at home. And the school were going, just teach the normal curriculum. Teach what you teach in the classroom. And I'm like, yeah, but the kids don't have a piano at home. And they don't have an African drum at home. And they don't have a samba kit at home. So actually, what am I supposed to do? And they were doing like, you know, when you get a keyboard up on a website, but it's laggy and it's not quite like playing a real keyboard. And I was getting them to do like chair drumming, and they were basically destroying their mum's wooden spoons and stuff. So that wasn't great. But yeah, and then I kind of fell out of love with teaching because of how difficult that was and because of just teaching in general. Like you talk to anyone that's a teacher at the moment and they'll tell you that it's not good right now. And I got diagnosed with stress, and I thought to myself, no job is worth both my mental and physical health. So I was signed off, and in the process of being signed off, like I was stressed, but I wasn't depressed, and I wasn't at the point where I couldn't gig. So I just gigged and thought, oh, actually there's more money in this now, and I've got more experience and I've got more skills in this now, and more freedom. I can drive. So yeah, and then it just sort of went from there, and I started advertising myself for the first time, and yeah, it was like a tsunami wave coming towards me. That's the only way I can describe it. I'd never had business cards. I'd never had a website. And then suddenly I'm putting myself out there, and it was like, whoa. And yeah, that's kind of, I quit my job and went self-employed from January with no real plan. I just thought, let's see how this goes. Maybe I'll get a part-time job if I need it, but never needed it. So here we are. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah,
perfect. So you mentioned that you started putting yourself out there. Where was that? What were you doing at first to like sort of get that tsunami of gigs coming in? So
I used a couple of, I suppose they're like online directories or online agencies and stuff. There's a company called Encore, where musicians can basically like, they can put themselves up for hire, and people who need a musician can put jobs up as like a job advert. It's like Indeed, but for musicians basically. You put a job advert up, and I was just applying to anything and everything that I could, because I thought, gosh, I don't know how busy I'm going to be. I'm just going to try and apply for everything, even if it's not really my vibe. Like, it's money, it's work, let's do it. So Encore was one place. Another place was Hitched, which is basically like a wedding supply directory. People that are planning their wedding will go on, they'll search like stationery in Hampshire, and then it'll give you loads of people. That really helped me out at the start, for people to find me. And Instagram. Yeah, Instagram's kind of been my main source of marketing and finding people, as you found me through Instagram and stuff. So yeah, mainly those sort of places.
Yeah. Did you know that was, I think you mentioned that you were going for weddings. Is that the main thing you wanted to go for? And did you know that straight away, or were you kind of taking like any sort of pub gigs or any events? Or?
Yeah. I mean, at first I was doing a lot of public sort of pub gigs, restaurant gigs. I was doing anything I could. I'd signed up to quite a lot of agencies who obviously get those sort of public gigs for you. And I've been signed up to a couple for a while. Like I've been signed up to one called The Music Wardrobe, who are fantastic, and they do really, really nice gigs. So places like the Ivy in Harrogate, places like posh hotels in York, and it's a lovely gig and it's lovely customers. But obviously I can't do them all the time. So I was kind of going for, I don't know, like the dodgy pub down the road that I walk in and it's like a Western and everyone stops talking and I daren't open my mouth because they'll know I'm not Northern. It's one of those sort of things. And I think because I did so many of those, I kind of got to the point where I was like, I want to get to a point in my career where I don't have to say yes to every public gig that comes in my way. I want to be able to be picky and choosy, and I want to be able to say, actually, no, I'm not going to give you my last Sunday in June because something else will come through. So I'm at that place now, which is, thank you. But last year was full of dodgy places where I walked in and feared for my life a little bit, whilst I was ramping up the wedding bookings, because obviously people book for weddings so far in advance. So a lot of people that booked me last year, they're not getting married until this year, next year, year after. So I didn't do as many weddings last year, but I've got 86 this year.
Oh, well done.
I know. R.I.P. me.
Is that mostly during the summer, or is it kind of all spread out throughout the year? And do you think any more will come in after that as well? Because I know you said that it booked quite far in advance, but do you get any last minute kind of weddings come in?
Do you know, so I've closed my books for this year now because I got to a point where I thought, actually, that's probably enough.
Is that completely closed or just for weddings?
Well, it's basically closed because my next available Saturday is December. And I think
that must be a really nice place to be in, because you kind of know what money you've got coming in for the whole year, I'd imagine, and you can really plan your time around that, right? Yeah.
I mean, what's difficult though is that I have to now look at my 2026 diary and block out time so that I don't book and that I have time off, because it did get to a point last year where I was like, oh my gosh, I do not have a Saturday now until October, like even for social stuff. So I've been quite savvy this year of going ahead. But the difficult thing is then someone will be like, oh, please can you play at my wedding? And I'm like, I'm technically free. But if I sing at your wedding, I will literally have no life. So yeah, it's hard, but it's an amazing place to be in. Don't get me wrong. And I shouldn't be complaining, but yeah, I am getting quite a lot of 2024 weddings coming in now because of the way that I'm advertising myself on social media. A lot of people that are finding me are people that are getting married quite soon. And so then they're inquiring, and obviously I'm already booked. So that's quite tricky. Yeah,
I think that's going to be my next question, because I could imagine someone coming across your profile that is getting married fairly soon, and maybe they haven't got something sorted, maybe they have and they want something extra, but I can imagine them being like, I want to book this, and it's like in a month or something.
Well, what seems to happen a lot with me is that I get a lot of people that didn't even want live music in the first place. So they never like when they were planning their wedding and they were at the sort of start of it, you go in, right, I need a DJ, I need flowers, I need, you know what I mean? Like all the sort of basic things. I need a cake, but never on their sort of card was a live singer, because they'd never really thought about it. Especially if they listened to alternative music, they didn't think they would be someone that would do what I do. So they'll see me and they'll go, oh, I didn't even know I could have that. And then they message me and I'm like, yeah, I'm not free.
Yeah.
Sometimes if something comes through and it's really last minute and I am free and it's local, I might say yeah. But I'm trying to be more strict. I'm trying to say no more for my own sanity and my own sort of social life and stuff. But yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, as you said, that is a great place to be in. And something cool I saw you do the other day was on your social media say, like, I'm booked up at the minute. People have been in touch, but these are other amazing singers that would also suit your wedding. So please get in touch with them. That was a great thing I saw you do. So I think other people should like kind of take note of that and build these kind of communities and networks that you can all kind of help each other out. I'm sure some people are already doing it, but yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I started, I had people messaging me and they were like, oh, you're not free, but do you know anyone else that does what you do? And I was like, no. So I'm really glad that now there's a couple of people that I've got to know that I can just go, I'm not free, but here you go. Because and I've actively said to people, please jump on this niche because there's so much work. There's so many people that want this kind of music at their weddings. So I do not want to gatekeep. Like, I want a community of people that do this with me. Because I've obviously tapped into something that's people want. So yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's a perfect segue into getting onto that kind of stuff. So I know from like some previous messages that we had, it kind of came about by accident, where you just noticed people were booking you for certain songs in your set list. So yeah, tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so I mean, I've always really been into alternative music. It's just the music that I listen to, I suppose. Especially, it's the kind of music that I see live. Like, I like all types of genre, but I love seeing alternative music live. It's just got such a vibe to it. I like going to festivals. I go to Download Festival, I go to Slam Dunk Festival. So it's always been in my repertoire and I've always sung those kind of songs. And I like putting a spin on a song that you wouldn't expect. It's just what I've always kind of done, because when you sing the same song so often and you do it in the same way so often, it gets boring. So I just like to mix it up a little bit. Like, you get requested Wonderwall 500 times. I now do like a funk jazz version of it because I'm just so bored of singing it. And then they're like, is this one? I'm like, yes, this is Wonderwall and this is what you're getting if you want it, kind of thing. Yeah. So when I built my set list and I typed it all out, I thought to myself, I was like, do I put these really niche songs on there that probably no one is ever going to know? But then I thought to myself, if one person sees that song on my set list and goes, oh my God, as if she sings that, I'm booking her because she sings like Never Shout Never or something like that is so nostalgic. And that was my MySpace song, like back when I was 13. I think that's a win. So I just put them all on and I thought, we'll see what happens. And when I started, obviously people were picking the more traditional stuff because that's what I was branding myself as. I was branding myself as a traditional singer. I was putting up covers of traditional songs. But then I had a couple, Georgia and Carl, love them forever, but they basically messaged me and they said, look, we really want a singer. I think maybe they saw that I had tattoos, and they said, we want a Machine Gun Kelly song as our like walk back down the aisle, and we want a Fall Out Boy song as our first dance. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is like so my vibe. And then I sent them my set list and they were like, oh my gosh, you do like back catalogue Panic at the Disco. I was like, yes. And then I thought, okay, this is cool. Booked them. That was great. I thought it was probably a one-off. And then I had a couple of couples from that point onwards who, I think basically what the issue was that in the couple, one of them really liked traditional music and one of them really liked alternative music. So as a compromise, like one of them got to pick the sort of Sum 41s and all that sort of stuff. I was like, okay, this is working. And yeah, I just from that point onwards thought, you know what, I might lean into this a little bit more and see what happens. I was quite scared though. I was cautious because I thought, am I going to scare people off? I'm not worried about that anymore though. I actually actively try and scare people off.
I mean, it might be like, just like a timing thing as well. So I think we're a similar age and we definitely grew up on the same kind of music. Yeah. And maybe it's just that all of the people that kind of age are now getting married that love that kind of music. Is why this is also working so well.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's difficult because I mean, the ages of my couples have really varied. It does worry me that maybe this will sort of in 5-10 years maybe not be as attractive. I don't know, but There's baby emos. Baby emos are going to get married soon.
So, I mean, yeah, it works so well as well, because not only have you niched down like by being alternative, but also by just like mainly focusing on weddings. So you kind of got this like double niche that that when people find you, it's like exactly what they want, and they book you, which is why you're so busy.
I think I've managed to like figure out in terms of social media algorithms how to target those people as well, because the more niche you are, the more you can target people. Because if you're just a traditional event singer, then it's really difficult for the algorithm to then push your stuff to the right people. Whereas I'm an alternative wedding singer, and if I put those keywords in my captions, in my bios and everything, then it pushes to people who like alternative music and are getting married. And it just, I don't know, my most successful marketing has been Instagram ads. It's been incredible. And they're so cheap. They literally cost me like £20. And I'd say 90% of people find me through Instagram ads. Like they'll even say it in their message, like an ad popped up. And at the first I was spending like hundreds of pounds for wedding fairs that were not my kind of people. Like they were coming, and a lot of people that were going to those wedding fairs either didn't want live music or weren't really into alternative music, and I just wasn't quite the right fit. And I wasted a lot of money marketing with that kind of stuff. But when I got my rebrand done, the first thing I did was made an introduction post using all the new branding and really pushing the fact that I was an alternative wedding singer. I think I paid £20 for this ad to run for 5 days, and I got 130 inquiries within about a week, which was just mental. Like I've never had a week like that before in my life. It was admin nightmare, but it was like incredible. And a lot of those people booked. So I filled my diary pretty much straight away just from like one Instagram ad. It was crazy.
Did you have to learn how to do ads, or did you just kind of wing it? Or
I just winged it. Like I did profile visits and I let Instagram choose who it targeted to. I didn't, because before when I've tried to do ads, I've tried to like really go into it and be like, right, target people from this age to this age. I want people that are this, and it doesn't work in the same way. So when you get Instagram to do it, they target people that are similar to your followers already. And it just seems to be this like magic sauce that works every time. It's great. And
you say you created like a specific ad for that, or did you worked with a graphic designer who made that for you?
Yeah. So I joined a co-working group online. So imagine like you all just log in and work together for accountability. People that work from home, obviously, it's quite tricky to find that motivation. And one of the women that was in this co-working group was a graphic designer, and a couple of people had paid graphic designers for their branding. And I thought, gosh, their branding looks really strong, and it makes me want to pay them to do something for me because they look so professional. And I thought, this is probably a really good investment because I can't do it myself. I don't know enough about, I probably could now, but I don't know enough about it. I didn't know enough about it back then. And I needed something that would tread the line between not super alternative, but also wedding, feminine sort of idea as well. And yeah, I ended up investing in a graphic designer to do my logo, to choose the colors, choose the fonts. And she basically just created a brand kit for me. So now anything that I make has these guidelines that I just stick to, and then it all looks cohesive and it all works together. And that's what I used for that first ad. And yeah, it's been brilliant ever since. I get a lot of compliments on my branding, actually. And yeah, I think it's something that helps me get booked as well.
Yeah. And people just, it's such a simple thing, but people don't realize it is an investment and it is super important. Everything just looks professional. You look like you're worth the money that you're charging. Mm-hmm. And like all your photos and everything are all professional, all super high quality. So yeah, you're doing a great job on that. Honestly, it was why I wanted you on the podcast.
Thank you.
Are you still running ads now? Is that something you like turn off and on? Like, okay, I've had a few less inquiries recently, so I'm going to turn them back on again. It's like a tap, right?
Yeah. So if I get to a point where I'd like a few inquiries to come through, then I might trial an ad just to see. Sometimes it's good just to gain some followers as well. I find a lot of the time that it's something that pays off a little bit later on, because a lot of people, weirdly, follow me before they even get engaged. So I'll get a lot of people saying, when I get engaged, I'm booking you for my wedding. So they'll follow me, and then I'll get a message 6 months down the line saying, they proposed. And I'm like, woo, let's do it, sort of thing, which is awesome. And then weirdos plan their wedding date around when I'm free. Yeah. And I just find that insane. It's lovely, but I just find that, I'm like, you guys get married whenever you want, and if I'm free, I'm free. But yeah, I get people going, when are you free in this month? And they'll work it around like my availability, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. That's it's awesome though. And a testament to what you're doing. Like, where I think music is so important at a wedding, and it's something that makes like your wedding stand out, right? So having someone like you there, yeah, perfect.
I'll say as well that I've found that alternative couples really value music a lot more than maybe like a traditional couple will, because obviously when you're into alternative music and live music especially is a big priority for you. So I've found that in the past when I've been booked for a more traditional set list, that I'm maybe the last thing to get booked, or I'm at least like a little sprinkling on top, and I'm more for entertaining the guests. Whereas alternative couples, they really prioritize live music, and I'm either one of the first things to get booked or the first thing to get booked, because it is more for them as a couple more than for their guests, if that makes sense. So that's been quite an eye-opener as well, and that's really helped.
This episode is brought to you by Acoustic Backs And Tracks, your go-to source for premium acoustic back and tracks that sound and feel like the real deal. Whether you're performing at weddings, recording content, or just practicing at home, it's like having a professional band right there with you. Their tracks are recorded by top session musicians with real instruments and real emotion. No lifeless MIDI here. Need something custom? They've got you covered. From key changes to mashups to exclusive tracks made just for you. Plus, their customer support is fast, friendly, and actually understands musicians. No task is too big for them. And here's the best part. Listeners of the Full-Time Function Musician podcast get 10% off their first order. Just head to acousticbacksandtracks.com and use the code FUNCTION10 at checkout. That's function, all in capitals and 10 at the end, but you can find their website link and the code in the episode description. Just back to your social media a little bit. Do you have any sort of like weekly plan or strategy with that? Like, I know you do post your covers and stuff. Do you have like, this video goes out on a Monday, this goes out on a Wednesday, or anything like that?
No, I think I made quite a conscious effort to not do that, because I love doing my social media. Like I really enjoy doing it. But I think if I was to set myself deadlines and schedules and things like that, then I would fall out of love with it, because it would feel like homework, and it would feel like if I don't post this on a certain day, I don't know, I'd feel too perfectionist about it. Whereas now I'm very much, if I want to post something, I'll post it. If I don't want to post something, I won't. If I'm really busy, I might not post as much. If I've got loads of inspiration, I don't know. And I just think it's more authentic that way. I helped out somebody running their social media for a little bit, and I found that quite difficult, because I was like set to quite strict deadlines, and I had to post a certain thing on a certain day. But then something else might come up that I want to post that's more relevant, but because we've got the schedule set, we've got to stick, and it doesn't work in my head. So I'm much more of an organic, like I just post what I want when I want, and it seems to work the best for me.
Yeah. But you're still pretty consistent on there with like mainly posting every day and stuff. So I think that's sort of enough at the end of the day. So you do some covers at home and stuff as well. And do you just film them on like your phone or anything?
A bit of a mixture. So when I first started, I did invest in getting some proper videos done by a guy called Matt at Assembly Point, who's just local to me. And he reached out to me actually and said, do you want any sort of show reel promo videos done? I didn't have anything at the time, and I thought actually it's probably a good idea to have some proper nice looking in a studio videos done. So I invested in that to start with, and I got maybe like 4 covers done in the studio, and then we went out on location and we did some outside that look really nice, and they're just great for my website and social media. And the second ones especially, we did sort of portraits, so they were literally filmed for Instagram. And then recently I met up with a friend of mine who's got like quite a decent camera, and I've got an interface and a microphone, and we recorded the Limp Bizkit one was just done in my bedroom upstairs. But I think nice quality. So it was just sort of one of those ones where I thought, actually, I've got enough really high quality stuff now that just being able to put out regular videos, I don't need to be paying for that every single time. Because I mean, one of the videos that I did in my bedroom, I did a cover of Linkin Park, and I posted it on TikTok. And I don't really do TikTok. I'm a bit of an animal on TikTok. I don't really get it. I just sort of post anything that I've posted on Instagram on there and hope for the best. And I don't even have notifications turned on. So I posted this Linkin Park cover, came out of the app, went to sleep, woke up, and I had like 20 inquiries overnight. And I looked back on TikTok and it had not really gone viral, but I had about 40,000 views on it. I was like, oh, okay, this has done okay. And I thought, I didn't even pay for that video. Like I didn't go to a studio and I didn't pay any money to get it done. And it's still done really well and it's still got me inquiries. So I probably don't need to do that as every single time I need to do a cover.
Yeah. I mean, but it's my point was going to be that it's still high quality, even though it's not like super, super professional or whatever. It's still like you've got nice photos in the background and it's all like framed really nicely. And so it still looks on brand and super professional, which is, perfect. And it doesn't need to, it doesn't always need to cost you loads of money.
No, my wall up there is pink. So I was like, branding colors, this is good. But yeah, I found it quite difficult. So if I'm not available for a gig, sometimes I'll post something out there just to other musicians and say like, are you free? And they'll get back to me and they'll go, yeah, I'm free. And I'll go, okay, can you send me a high quality video of you singing so I can send it to the venue? And they've only got live footage from an iPhone or like an iPhone video of them at home. And I'm like, you sound great, but it's not putting out the message that you're taking this seriously. Yeah. And I'll try and have a bit of like candid conversation with them about that. And I know that it's an investment, but it really is an investment that pays off, getting those kind of videos done.
Absolutely. So another thing that I saw you doing is the alternative wedding fair. You're 1/3 of that as well. Yeah. I'd love to know a little bit more about that.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's such a cool project to be a part of. We're actually having a meeting tonight and I love having meetings with those girls, which is crazy. But yeah, so Katie, who is the owner of the photography brand Alt Wedding Co., came to myself and Rosie, who is an alternative wedding makeup artist. So Katie does alt wedding photography and video. Rosie does makeup. I do singing. And we kind of all came together and thought, there's no wedding fair specifically for alternative elder emo couples. There's a few wedding fairs that are aimed at like quirky weddings or untraditional weddings, but it's not so much alt in that sort of like quite explicit term. And there's also not many weddings that really think about inclusivity in terms of a couple is not always just a bride and groom. And so often you see wedding advertising saying bride and groom shots and it's just, I don't know, it really sort of shows that they're not thinking about the bigger picture of everyone that's getting married, and disabled people get married and, couples of different races get married and neurodivergent people get married. And the wedding industry is very, very behind the times, I think, as a whole. It's very white, it's very heteronormative, and it just, I don't know, it feels a bit icky to me at times. And I get asked to be part of styled shoots for weddings a lot. And I consciously say no if they're not doing anything different. If it's just a white, heterosexual skinny couple, like I'm just like, what new thing are we doing? We've done this before. And actually that doesn't represent the majority of my couples. And I'd much rather be involved in something that, I don't know, feels a bit more real and a bit more like actual real people that are getting married. So yeah, we started with the first wedding fair in, when was it? Gosh, February this year. We did it at Project House over in Leeds, and it was an absolute roaring success. It was absolutely incredible. And we just got together a load of alternative wedding suppliers, but also really inclusive wedding suppliers. So people who are actively doing things to make sure that their language is like neutral, and that they are representing diversity within like their social media. And yeah, we've got 2 more planned, which we're going to be announcing very soon. And we're also going to be launching a alternative wedding directory soon, where you can go online, doesn't matter where you are in the country. If you want to find an alternative makeup artist or photographer that really gets your vibe, then you can search for that on our website.
Amazing. And surely this brings in loads of work for you as well from doing this.
Yeah, do you know, it's weird. So the last wedding fair, I almost felt it was difficult because I was at my stand, but I also wanted to be walking around and like helping out. And I think at the next fair, I'm not going to have a stand. I'm going to give that opportunity to another sort of alternative singer who's coming up, because I don't need the bookings as much. I'm more just like being involved in it and giving that platform to other alternative wedding suppliers. I think it's an industry that's really nice, really progressive, and it's catering to those people that don't need to have the traditional wedding that they think they do. Because if you don't see anything different, then you don't know that you can do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Another amazing thing that you're doing. And again, just works so well with the niche. So another thing that you mentioned in our sort of pre-chat was that you have sung at a couple of weddings that were featured in Hello Magazine.
Yeah.
Love to know a little bit more about them and how they kind of came about.
So the first one was bizarre. The first one was... I was singing in an Italian restaurant in Leeds, and this guy came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'd love you to sing at my daughter's wedding. It's going to be in Portugal." And I was like, "Oh, cool. Yeah, I'd love to if like you pay for it," sort of thing. And I was a teacher at the time. I think I was just about to start my teaching job. And I thought, you know what, sod it. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get this opportunity again. So I think I finished work on the Friday, flew out that night, sang at the wedding on the Saturday, and then flew back on the Sunday, and I was back in the classroom on Monday, which was crazy. But as I was kind of getting sort of used to what was going on and finding out the details, I got sent like an NDA form. I was like, whose wedding is this? And it ended up being Jeff Brazier, who is... I don't know if you remember Jay Goody. It was Jay Goody's ex-husband. It was him. He was getting married again. Absolutely lovely guy. Such a nice guy. It was a lovely wedding. DJ Spoonie was the DJ, which was like, what? But yeah, I basically wasn't allowed to like film anything whilst I was there. I got mentioned in the mag, which was nice. So that was lovely. Really enjoyed that. And then the second one was Danny from McFly's sister, who just found me on Instagram. She just, after I'd rebranded as like an alternative wedding singer, she found me and sent me a message. It was quite last minute actually, but luckily because I'd only really just started, I had gaps in my 2023 calendar. It was April last year. And again, that was an NDA one. And I was like, but when I looked at her profile, I thought, I don't know, I'm not sure what's going on. And then I realized, oh, McFly is the house band. They're actually the function band for the night, which is crazy. Lovely, lovely guys, really, really nice guys. I had a lovely time, and I sang for their drinks reception. And I was sound checking whilst they were all getting changed. So I saw Harry and Dougie in their pants, which was 13-year-old me was screaming inside. Yeah, that was wild. That was a really wild experience.
Do you feel like so much more pressure doing stuff like that? Like,
yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I mean, I didn't sing any McFly songs. That would have felt like pressure. I also didn't sing any Busted songs. But hilariously, I had another gig that night. So I sang at their wedding in the afternoon, and then I went and sang at this sort of like dodgy pub in the middle of like Dewsbury. And I walked in, and this one bloke went, "You better be good." And I'm just there like, I just sang for McFly. But yeah, it's just one of those sort of hyper reality moments. It was good. Yeah. It was good fun.
So that first one, that was before you'd kind of rebranded into the old stuff. So was that was just pure luck? Just you could never make that happen again?
No, I was just in the right place at the right time. It was his father-in-law was having like a graduation dinner at the restaurant that I was singing in, and they liked my vibe. Do you know? So they really wanted like R&B, real R&B niche, which weirdly I also really like, but I don't advertise as much. And I've had a couple of weddings like that, because when you look through my set list, yes, I have a lot of alternative niche, but I also have quite a lot of R&B niche on there as well, just because I like listening to that kind of stuff. And I do get that kind of wedding come through every now and again. So that was quite nice, because it was niche, but it wasn't the niche that I brand myself as now.
Yeah. I think that's like just something to mention quickly as well, is like picking a niche and like focusing on that doesn't mean that you can't do other stuff. It's just so that you can brand yourself easier.
Yes.
and that. But yeah, and it doesn't stop you. It doesn't mean you have to just only ever do that.
Yeah.
Just something I wanted to mention quickly. So, that sounds like that was some of your favorite gigs, which brings us nicely, I guess, to the section of the show about your favorite gigs, your worst gigs, or whatever it is you want. So yeah, any other cool experiences that you'd love to tell us about?
I'm trying to think. So I suppose when I was in uni, I did backing vocals for a girl called George Thirsting, who was a fantastic singer. And she was originally from Gibraltar. And she won like a competition to sing on the main stage at Gibraltar Music Festival, and managed to fly us all out to sing out there and singing on the same stage as like Newton Faulkner, Ella Eyre, Rita Ora, Duran Duran. And we were all in the same sort of VIP area at the back. So that was kind of cool. That was a cool experience. And also in uni, I was part of a choir that went on tour with Mark Almond from Soft Cell, sang with him, did a duet with him in London, which was wild. That was really cool. I used to sing in a Queen tribute band. Not as the lead singer, obviously, but as doing backing vocals. That was really fun, like really intense harmonies that made my brain hurt, but enjoyed doing that a lot. I've sang for... So I got a really cool opportunity at when I just quit my job, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? I was also in a bit of debt because of a past relationship, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what do I do? And I was singing at a hotel, and this guy basically came up to me and was like, I'd love you to sing for my work due. And I was like, okay. He goes, how much do you charge for 3 45-minute sets? And I think at the time I charged something like 280 quid. And he went, no, we're going to pay you $1,000. And I was like, excuse me? And he went, you're worth $1,000. I'm going to pay you $1,000. And I was like, oh my God, that's my debt. That's how much debt I'm in. That's what I can pay off. And he ended up being like one of the top logistics people at Howden's Joinery, which is like I don't know, you've probably driven past it. It's like a sort of cockerel. They do joinery in kitchens and fitted bathrooms and stuff. But they put me up in a hotel in Lincoln and paid me a stupid amount of money to sing for their work due, because he thought that's what I was worth. And it gave me that kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, people do value me, and this is what I should be doing. So that was a really cool moment right at the start of my career, like full-time self-employed career, definitely, yeah.
Nice. So what's next for you? I know you've got a pretty busy year coming up in that, and working on the art wedding fair and stuff, but anything else cool you've got coming up? Any plans to push yourself further, or?
I don't know. I mean, I'm still quite new into doing it full time. This is my first full year, I suppose, of doing weddings full time. Because last year, yes, I was self-employed, but I did maybe 30 weddings last year, and the majority of my gigging was public gigs. Whereas this year, I think I'm just kind of, I want to see if the amount that I've booked in this year is too much. Because if it is, then obviously I'm going to need to think about what I'm doing, whether I change my pricing structure and then do less, or, I mean, I earn a comfortable amount at the moment. I'm really happy with that. But yeah, I need to kind of think about, it's the business side of things that I've never had any experience of. Like I've always been employed, so that all my tax and stuff has been sorted out PAYE. So that's more what I'm kind of looking at and trying to figure out at the moment, because I'm a one-woman band. Like, I'm doing everything myself. I do all my taxes myself. I do all of my pricing structures myself, and I'm still finding my feet with that a little bit, I think. And yeah, I don't want to I don't want to stretch myself too much. So yeah, honing what I'm doing now, focusing on the wedding fair, and yeah, whatever opportunities come through the door. Like I've got the opportunity to possibly sing at Leeds Tattoo Convention this year, which is cool. There's a couple of tattoo conventions that have got in touch, which is really my kind of vibe. I love that kind of
yeah.
So, more stuff like that.
Yeah, that's that whole other market. There's like so many tattoo conventions all over the country, isn't there? So a whole other market for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't want to throw you under the bus with this question at all, but if you had any advice for someone who is just looking to start out into getting into weddings or even getting into like focusing on a niche more, do you have any advice for them?
I'd just say don't be afraid to niche down, because I think I was afraid to niche down at first. I was kind of worried that, well, what I said before, like that it would put off people. But actually, that's exactly what I want to do now. The industry is very oversaturated. There is a lot of wedding singers that do the same sort of thing, and they're brilliant at it. But you need to do something that sets you apart, whether it's the genre, whether it's the style. I don't know, there just needs to be something that when someone's scrolling through an endless list of possibilities, you're the one that makes them go, that's a bit different. So yeah, think about that, but also think about what's your ideal client. Like if I was to think about my perfect wedding that would come through my inquiry box, it would be a couple that are like tattooed, they're into their alternative music, maybe they're having like a festival type wedding, maybe they've got like a tattoo artist at their wedding. And I think about that and I go, right, I'm going to market myself to that couple, to that ideal couple, and then hopefully attract people that sort of are around that bubble. But yeah, and also invest money in people that can do things to help you out. If someone's better at you than something, pay them to do it. So if someone's better at doing graphic design, pay them to do their graphic design for you. If you're good at it, do it yourself. But if you can't do it, then definitely pay someone to do it for you, I would say. That advice was from Mark, who's a photographer. I saw his he did a post recently about it, and I couldn't agree more with paying people to help you out with stuff like that, because it's a long-term investment. It pays off. Like I paid maybe $1,500 for my graphic design, and that came back tenfold over the year. So it's an investment that really sounded a big thing at first, but then paid off.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, unless there's anything else that I haven't asked you or you wanted to talk about, I think that pretty much brings us to an end.
I don't think so.
Awesome. So if people wanted to connect with you or find out more about you, where would you like to send them?
Probably Instagram. So it's Lily Kerbey Music on Instagram. Kerbey spelled Kerbey. Thank you, Dad, for that awkward spelling. Or TikTok, same thing, or Facebook. Every now and again, I open the Facebook app. But I've also got my website as well, which has got set lists. It's got videos of me singing and everything on there as well, which you can find through those places.
Cool, and I will include all of those links in the episode description. Yeah, awesome. I've really, really enjoyed this one. I think it's been a great episode. So thanks again so much for coming on and chatting to me.
Thank you.